Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing the O-level maths paper for May June 2025. This is paper 1, the second variant. This is the non-category paper. I'll be uploading the videos for paper 2 with the other variants as well. Let's start with this one and see how easy or difficult this one was. It says work out 6 minus 2 times bracket negative 4. So this is basically order of operations. We follow the rules of bit mass and we go in this order. So we start with brackets, then we do the indices, then division, then multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Since multiplication is before subtraction, we will first multiply negative 2 with negative 4. So that's going to be 6 plus 8. And then we add 6 and 8, which is going to give us 14. Remember, whenever we're multiplying two negative integers, the answer will always be positive. This is why negative 2 times negative 4 became positive 8. Then 80 times 0.2, you can rewrite 0.2 as 2 over 10. So that's 80 times 2 over 10. You can cancel out the zeros because 80 is basically 8 times 10. So 80 divided by 10 would be 8, and 8 times 2 is 16. So that's your answer. Then 2 over 9 divided by 5 over 6. Whenever we're dividing fractions, what we do is we change the division into multiplication and flip the second fraction. So this is called taking the reciprocal. So 5 over 6 becomes 6 over 5 and division becomes times. So now we have 2 times 6 over 9 times 5. 6 and 9 come in the same times table, which is a 3 times table. So 6 divided by 3 is 2 and 9 divided by 3 is 3. 2 times 2 is 4 and 3 times 5 is 15. Since we cannot further simplify it, so we leave it as it is. If you want to give the answer as 12 over 45, that is also correct because the question hasn't asked us to simplify it. So either way, your answer will be correct. Then a bag contains 11 balls. There are 5 blue balls and 4 yellow balls. The rest of the balls are green. So if there are 11 balls, blue are 5, yellow are 4. So 5 plus 4 is 9. So 11 minus 9 is 2. Green are 2. A ball is taken from the bag at random. Find the probability that the ball is yellow. So that's going to be 4 out of 11. Whenever we're trying to find the probability, number of objects, so number of yellow divided by total balls. That is how you'll find the probability of a yellow ball. If it was some other type of questions, like whatever they're asking about, that comes in the numerator and the total objects come in the denominator. Then it says the probability of not blue. So that means it can either be green or yellow. So that's 4 plus 2 over 11. So 6 out of 11 is the probability of the ball not being blue. Then it says the area of one face of a cube is 9 centimeters square. On the 1 centimeter grid, draw an accurate net of the cube. So as you would know, a cube has all square faces. And if the area of one of the faces is given as 9, which means the lengths are 3, because 3 times 3 is 9. So what we do is we make a 3 by 3 face, then a 3 by 3 face on the side, another 3 by 3 face over here. Now this is going to be the side, this is going to be the top, and this is the other side. So this is our net of the cube. All dimensions are going to be 3 because the area of one of the faces was 9 centimeters square. And as you would know that each face is square, so 3 times 3 would give us 9. And this way all dimensions are going to be 8. Then it says AEC and BED are straight lines. ED equals to EC, which is also shown on the diagram. You have to find the value of x. So first, what I'm going to do is, if ED equals to EC, that means these two angles are also going to be equal because this triangle EDC is an isosceles triangle. If opposite lengths are equal, opposite angles are also equal. Now we can find the third angle over here, which is going to be angle DEC, that is 180 minus 35 minus 35, which is 180 minus 70, and that gives us 110. Next thing you need to know is that vertically opposite angles are always equal. Since angle AEB is vertically opposite to angle DEC, that means these are going to be equal. So now if you look at the triangle AEB, we have two angles and we need to find the third one. So X would be 180 minus 110 minus 48. 180 minus 110 is 70. 70 minus 48 is going to be 22. So 22 degrees is the angle X. For these type of questions, you need to be aware of your angle properties. Sum of angles in a triangle is always equal to 180 degrees. Vertically opposite angles, like, lines when they're making an X. Let me just highlight that. If they're making an X, then vertically opposite angles are equal, like these two. In an isosceles triangle, we have two equal lengths and two equal angles. So the angles opposite to those lengths, they're equal. So these are the properties you need to be aware of. Then it says solve 5 times 4 minus x equals to 35. So there are two ways of solving this. First step is that you can expand the bracket. So 5 times 4 is 20 and 5 times x is negative 5x equals to 35. Then we're going to take 20 to the other side. So negative 5x equals to 35 minus 20. When you move a term from one side to the other side, whatever it's doing on one side, it does the opposite on the other side. So since 20 was positive over here, on the other side, it becomes negative. So negative 5x equals to 35 minus 20, which is 15. And then we divide both sides by negative 5. X equals to negative 3. This was one way of solving this. The other way is that you can begin by dividing both sides by 5. This way we get rid of the 5 over here. So that's 4 minus x equals to 7. Then negative x equals to 7 minus 4. Since 4 is positive over here, on the other side it will be negative. Negative x equals to 3. Divide both sides by negative 1. And that gives us x equals to negative 3. Both ways you're getting the same answer. You just pick the method that is easy for you to understand. Then we have bearings. The scale drawing shows the position of two villages A and B. The scale is 1 centimeter to 5 kilometers, which means 1 centimeter would equal to 5 kilometers in the real life drawing. Find the actual distance between village A and village B. So for these type of questions, what we do is, using a ruler, we measure the distance between A and B. And whatever distance we get, we will times that by 5 kilometers to find the actual distance. So let's say between A and B, the distance is 5.5 centimeters, let's say. So what you would do is you would multiply 5.5 with 5, and that will give you the actual distance, which based on this would be 27.5 kilometers. So once again, this is just an assumption. You use your ruler, you measure the line AB, and then whatever distance you get, you times that by 5 to get the actual distance. Then it says village C is on a bearing of 60 degrees from village A, and village C is on a bearing of 320 degrees from village B. Find and label the position of village C on the scale drawing. For this, you need your protractor because they want the exact position and they've given us the angles. You cannot just assume where, like, each angle would be and then just make a position of C randomly. We have to use a protractor. Village C is on a bearing of 60 from village A. So you will put your protractor at village A and measure 60 degrees. So 60 degrees will be approximately over here, let's say. And then village C is on a bearing of 320 from village B. So that's going to be somewhere over here. So based on a rough assumption of where the angles are going to be, this is 60 and this is 320. Another thing for the bearing, you measure the bearing from the north of the point that they're talking about. Like for example, if it's from village B, 320 from village B. So we start from the north of village B and we see where 320 degrees are going to be. 320 degrees are going to be over here somewhere. So we mark the angle, and then for 60 degrees from A, you see where 60 degrees are going to be. You measure the angle from the north of A, and it's going to be somewhere over here. So the point where both the lines intersect, that will be your position of village C. So that's how you use your bearing to find where the position of an object is going to be. Then it says evaluate cube root of 125. Cube root of 125 is 5. For these type of questions, you need to memorize your basic square and cube numbers, at least till like 13, so that when they give a question like this, you can just easily figure out what the answer would be. Because as you know, the calculator is not allowed. So the basic cube and square numbers need to be on your fingertips. Then evaluate 4 to the power of -2. Whenever we have a negative power, we need to first make the power positive. The power can be made positive by bringing it down in the denominator. So 4 to the power of -2 can be rewritten as 1 over 4 square. The moment I brought the 4 to the power of -2 in the denominator, the power became positive. Nothing happened to the base, only the sign of the power changed. So from negative, it became positive. 4 square is 4 times 4, which is 16. So 1 over 16 is your answer. If you try to write it as -16 or like 6 to the power of -2 or 6 to the power of -1, they won't mark it correctly. You have to give it as a positive power, and that can only be done once you make the power positive in the first step. Then it says Asha records the distance she walks and the time she takes for each of 10 walks. The table shows the results. So we have the distance and the corresponding time. They have drawn a scatter diagram. Complete the scatter diagram. The first 6 points have been plotted for you. So 4.2 and 52 are going to be over here. 9 and 116. That's over here. That's 9 and 16. 3.8 and 49. 5.6 and 62. So these are your remaining points. Then we have to draw a line of best fit. And then Asha goes for another walk. She walks a distance of 6.8 kilometers. Use your line of best fit to estimate the time Asha takes for this walk. For the line of best fit, we choose a line that is right in the middle of the point. So we have 1, 2, 3 above it, and we have 3, 4. This is our line of best fit. So next what we'll do is we'll draw a line from 6.8 towards the line of best fit. And we can see that we get 86. So since it's an estimate, so it's going to be different for everyone based on what the line of best fit is for them. I'm getting 86 minutes. That is the time it takes for her to walk 6.8 kilometers. Then it says the diagram shows a rectangle. By writing each number correct to one significant figure, find an estimate for the area of the rectangle. So 87.1 correct to one significant figure is going to be 90, and 23.6 is going to be 20. So now 90 times 20 is going to be, we know 9 times 2 is 18, and then we just add the two zeros as it is. So 1800 is your answer. For significant figures, you need to remember that leading zeros, the 0 after 9 and 2, leading zeros are insignificant. So 9 is just the first significant figure, and they want the answer correct to one significant figure. So 87.1 rounds to 90. If we round 87.1 to 87, that is two significant figures. So that's incorrect. Same for 23.6. If we round that to 24, that is two significant figures, not one. So since 23.6 is closer to 20 than 30, so it becomes 20. And 87.1 is closer to 90 compared to 80, so we make it 90. Then we just multiply the two and we have our area. Then it says write 228 as a product of its prime factors. For this, you can draw the factor tree. 228 is divisible by 2, so that's going to be 114 over here. 114 can also be divided by 2, that is 57. 57 can be divided by 3. Why do I know that can be divided by 3? It's because if I add 5 and 7, that equals to 12. And 12 comes in the 3 times table, which is easier for us to figure out as compared to 57. This is also the divisibility rule for 3, that to check if a number comes in the 3 times table, you can just add the digits in that number. And if the sum of the digits comes in the 3 times table, that means the original number also comes in the 3 times table. So 57, it's 3 times 19. And since 2, 3, and 9, all these numbers are prime numbers, so we cannot further break these down. The whole point behind drawing a factor tree is that we're trying to break down the number The whole point behind drawing a factor tree is that we're trying to break down the number in its prime factors. So we know 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number, and 19 is a prime. So 228 is the same as 2 times 2 times 3 times 19. We can also rewrite this as 2 square times 3 times 19. Either way, your answer is correct. Then 228 squared equals to 51,984. Write 51,984 as a product of its prime factors. So if 228 was 2 square times 3 times 19, we now have 228 square, which means all of these numbers are being squared. Remember, whenever we have a power outside the bracket and inside the bracket, you multiply the powers. So 2 times 2, 4, 3 square as it is, and 19 square as it is. So 228 square is the same as 51,984. So as a product of its prime factors, that's going to be 2 to the power 4 times 3 square times 19 square. That's your answer. Then the mass of a small box is x kgs. The mass of a large box is y kgs. The total mass of 4 small boxes and 6 large boxes is 30 kgs. Show that 2x plus 3y equals to 15. So 4x, because one box is x kg, so 4 boxes will be 4 times x, plus 6y, because 6 large boxes, because one large box equals to y kg, so 6 would be 6 times y. So total is 30. We can divide all of these terms by 2, because they all come in the 2 times table. So that's going to be 2x plus 3y equals to 15, which is the same as the equation given the question. The total mass of 6 small boxes and 1 large box is 13 kgs. Use this information to write down an equation in terms of x and y. So 6x plus y equals to 13. That's your equation. Then solve the simultaneous equations to find the mass of a small box and the mass of a large box. You must show all your working. So first equation was 2x plus 3y equals to 15. And then we have 6x plus y equals to 13. You can solve these simultaneous equations using the substitution or the elimination method. I'm going to use the substitution method for this because over here we can make y the subject in the second equation. So y is 13 minus 6x. This becomes our third equation. You can substitute third equation in the first one. So that's going to be 2x plus 3 bracket 13 minus 6x. Wherever there is y in the first equation, we replace that with 13 minus 6x. Expand the bracket. So that's going to be 39 minus 18x. Collect the like terms on each side. 2x minus 18x equals to 15 minus 39. That's negative 16x equals to negative 24. X would be negative 24 divided by negative 16, which equals to 3/2. That is the value of x. Find the value of y. You replace x with the value that we just found. So 13 minus 6 times 3/2. That's 13 minus 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So 13 minus 9 is 4. So small box is 3/2 or 1.5. Large box is 4 kg. That's your answer. If you want to use the elimination method, then for that you have to pick the variable that you want to eliminate. Like, let me just show you how you can use the elimination method to get the same answer. So for that, first you need to pick the variable you want to eliminate. Let's say I want to eliminate x. So to eliminate x, I need to make sure that x has the same coefficient in both the equations. In the second equation, we have 6, and the first equation, we have 2. They're different. So to make them the same, I can easily multiply the first equation by 3, because 3 times 2 is 6. So that will give us 6x plus 9y equals to 45. We multiply all of the terms by 3, not just the x value. So then we have 6x plus y equals to 13. Once you've made the coefficients equal, now we need to see what is the sign of x in both the equations. In the first equation, it's positive, and the second equation is also positive. So to get rid of it, we need to subtract the two equations. 6x minus 6x is 0. Then we have plus 9y minus y. And then we have 45 minus 13 on the other side. So that's 8y equals to 32. And y is going to be 32 divided by 8, which is 4. Exactly the same as we got using the previous method. Now, once you have your y value, you can put it back into either of the equations to get the x value. So if we use the second one, 6x plus y equals to 13. 6x plus 4 equals to 13. 6x equals to 13 minus 4, which is 9. So x is 9/6, which simplifies to 3/2. So same thing as the substitution method. So whichever method is easy for you to solve, just use that. There is no restriction because the question doesn't say you have to use a specific method. It just says solve the simultaneous equation. So whatever works for you, just do that. The triangle A and triangle B are drawn on the grid. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle A onto triangle B. We can clearly see that's a rotation and A is going on to B, so we're going in this direction. So that's 90 degrees clockwise rotation. And for the center, it seems like it's going to be -2 and 1. Because if we look at the position of this point is 3 units horizontally from the center. So when we rotate it 90 degrees, it becomes 3 units vertically. Like we swap the vertical and horizontal distance. Similarly, for this one, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units horizontally, 1 vertically. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertically and 1 horizontally. Again, your horizontal and vertical distances have swapped. So whenever we're rotating an object 90 degrees, whether it's clockwise or anti-clockwise, you always check what is the horizontal and vertical distance of a point on the shape from the center. And then for the transformed image, it's going to be the opposite. Like we swap the horizontal and vertical distance. So over here, we'll just write 90 degrees clockwise rotation about the center, -2 and 1. That is your answer. If you're someone who struggles with understanding transformation of shapes, I've made a video about that. I'm attaching the link above. Do check that out. And if you still have any questions or confusions, leave a comment below and I'll try to help you out again. And you're always open to use any other method that you've learned in school because obviously everyone has a different method of solving questions. So if you want to use some other method, just stick to that. The main goal is that you're getting the right answer. Then it says draw the image of triangle A after reflection in the line x equals to -1. So we first begin with drawing a line through x equals to -1. So this point is 2 units from the reflection line. So here it's going to be 2 units as well. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to remember that the reflected image is going to be at equal distance from the reflected line as is the original image. So as you can see, it's identical to the original image. It's like literally like, reflection as we know that, when you look in the mirror, you're at equal distance from the mirror as your image is. So keeping that in mind, just count the number of boxes the point is, and then you do the same on the other side. Then it says the triangle A is enlarged with scale factor k and center 0, 0. Triangle C is the image of triangle A after the enlargement, and the coordinates of one of the vertex of triangle C and the coordinates of one vertex of triangle C are 12, 3. You have to find the value of k and the other two vertices. Center 0, 0 and 12, 3 is the coordinate. Okay, so we cannot plot that on this axis, but since we're enlarging triangle A, we can assume that 12, 3 would be this one. Because if you notice, this is 4, 1. So 4, 1 can turn into 12, 3 if we times these by 3. Which means your scale factor is 3. And for the other two vertices, this becomes 1, 1 becomes 3, 3. And 3, 2 becomes 9, 6. So 3, 3, 9, 6 are the other two vertices, and your scale factor is 3. So 3, and then 3, 3, and 9, 6. That's your answer. Just need to compare like a point on triangle A with the given triangle C point and see which one can be turned into that. Obviously, 4, 1 was the most suitable one because 4 times 3 is 12 and 1 times 3 would also be 3. So because of that, we know the scale factor is 3, and then we can figure out the other points on triangle C. In a sale, a shop reduces all prices by 20%. A coat costs $85 before the sale. Work out the sale price of the coat. So before the sale, it's 85. So if it's being reduced by 20%, we just find 80% of 85. You can also find 20% of 85 first and then subtract that from 85 to get the new price. But it's easier that we just directly find 80% of 85 in one step and find the answer. So you can cancel out the zeros. 85 and 10 do come in the same times table. This is 2 and 85 becomes 17. 2 ones are 2, that's 4. So we do 17 times 4, which is 68. So $68 is the new price. For these type of questions, you need to know your times table very well. You need to know in fractions, simplification can be done vertically or diagonally, not horizontally. And leading zeros can be cancelled out. 1 0 in the numerator and 1 0 in the denominator, you can cancel it out. You cannot cancel all of them at the same time. Like, we cannot cancel both the zeros and 1 0 in the numerator. One from the numerator, one from the denominator. When the sale price of a shirt is $40, work out the cost of the shirt before the sale. So that means 40 is 80% of X. X being the price before the sale. Why am I using 80%? Because the shop is reducing the price for all of the products by 20%. So whatever is the sale price, that is going to be 80% of the whole price. So again, zeros get cancelled out. 40 equals to 8 over 10 times X. 8 and 10 also come the same times table, so that's going to be 4, that's 5. Cross multiply 40 times 5 divided by 4 equals to X. 4 ones are 4 and this becomes 10. 5 times 10 is 50. So $50 is your price of the shirt for the sale. Then it says A is the point -4, 5 and B is the point 6, 1. So let's write that. -4, 5 and then we have 6, 1. Vector BC is given as -3, -4. Find the column vector AB. So for column vector AB, we subtract OB and OA. The coordinates are basically your position vectors. And the position vectors are like with respect to the origin. So OB is 6, 1 and OA, that is -4 and 5. Always remember that the coordinates of point are your position vectors with respect to the origin. So you can just subtract OA from OB. So that's going to be 6, 1 minus -4 and 5. So 6 plus 4, 10. 1 minus 5 is -4. So 10, -4 is our vector 8. Then find the coordinates of point C. So coordinates of point C can easily be found. We know BC equals to OC minus OB. So BC plus OB is going to give us OC. BC is -3, -4, and OB is 6, 1. So -3 plus 6 is 3, -4 plus 1 is -3. So like I told you, position vector of a point with respect to the origin is also your coordinate of that point. So 3, -3 are the coordinates of point C. Then ABCD is a trapezium where AB is parallel to DC and AB is twice of DC. Find the coordinates of point D. if AB is parallel to DC and AB is twice of DC, AB was found to be 10, -4. This is a part of the same question. So DC would be half of AB, which is going to be half times 10, -4, which is 5 and -2. So coordinates of C were found to be 3 and -3. So OC was 3, -3. So to find the coordinates of D, DC equals to OC minus OD. So 5, -2 equals to 3, -3 minus OD. OD would be 3, -3 minus 5, -2, which is going to give us -2 and -1. These are your coordinates of point D. We're just using vectors to figure out what the missing coordinates are. Let's just find the length of AD, give your answer as a third in its simplest form. So coordinates of A were given as -4 and 5. And D is -2 and -1. So to find the line of length AD, formula is y2 minus y1 whole square plus x2 minus x1 whole square, and the entire thing square rooted. So -1 minus 5 whole square plus -2 plus 4 whole square, -6 whole square plus 2 whole square, 36 plus 4, which is root of 40. They want this in a simplified form. 40 is 4 times 10. 4 is a square number, so 4 comes outside as 2, and 2 root 10 is your length of the line AD. For this, you need to know how to simplify a third. So if we square a square number, the number goes outside the root. So that's why root of 4 gave us a 2, and 2 is outside the third, and 10 remains inside because it's not a square number. And this is the distance formula, like how to find the distance between 2 points. You can easily use that to find the length of a line or the length between any 2 points. Then simplify root 175 minus root 28. So begin with prime factorizing 175, which is 5 times 35. 35 is 5 times 7. So 175 can be rewritten as 5 squared times 7. And 28 is 4 times 7. 5 square is 25, so root of 25 is 5. That comes outside. Square root 4 is 2, so that comes outside as 2. You need to remember that when we're adding or subtracting surds, we can only solve them if the number inside the surd is exactly the same. Initially, we had 175 and 28. Once we prime factorized it and simplified the surd, now we have a 7 underneath both the surds, which means we can subtract 5 root 7 and 2 root 7, which gives us 3 root 7. That is your final answer. Without simplifying it, you cannot add or subtract surds. The number inside the surds need to be exactly the same for you to further solve them. If you're someone who struggles with understanding surds, I'm attaching a link above for a video that I've made for surds, which has ample questions which will help you in solving surds for paper 1 and paper 2. Then it says rationalize the denominator. So for rationalizing, you will multiply and divide the fraction by the surd in the denominator. This way, what happens is that you get rid of the surd from the denominator, which is basically what rationalizing wants us to do. So square of root 5 gives us 5 in the denominator, and now we only have a surd in the numerator. So the denominator has been rationalized. Let's say it's a group of 80 people each record their journey time from home to work one day. The cumulative frequency diagram shows the results. Use the cumulative frequency diagram to find an estimate of the median. So for the median, we divide the total frequency by 2, which is 40. Then we draw a line from 40 towards the graph and see what the corresponding value is on the x-axis. That comes out to be 32. So median value is 32 minutes. For the interquartile range, what we'll do is we'll find the upper quartile and the lower quartile. Lower quartile is going to be 1/4 of the total frequency, which is 20. So we draw a line from 20 towards the graph, and that gives us 25, if I'm not wrong. And then for the upper quartile, we find 3/4 of 80, which is going to be 60. So we draw a line from 60 towards the graph, which is at 35. So your interquartile range is going to be the difference of 35 and 25, which is 10. So 10 minutes is your interquartile range. Then the number of people who had a journey time of 40 minutes or more. So we draw a line from 40 minutes towards the graph, and that is giving us 72 over here. So since they want the journey time for people who took 40 minutes or more, that's all of this. So we will subtract 72 from 80, and that's 8 people. 8 people took 40 minutes or more. We don't write 72 because they're not asking us how many people took 40 minutes. They're asking us how many people took 40 minutes or more. So that's the people above the 72. So we subtract 72 from 80. That gives us the answer. Each of the 80 people also record their journey time from work to home that day. The table shows the results. J says the journey times from home to work are more consistent than the journey times from work to home. Is J correct? Explain how you decide. So for the previous part, we found the median to be 32 and the interquartile range was 10. He's saying that the journey times from home to work are more consistent than the journey from work to home. He's actually correct because when we go from home to work, we have a lower interquartile range. Lower interquartile range means that there is more consistency. So lower interquartile range means more consistency. Then the equation of line L is 5y plus 3x equals to 10. Rearrange 5y plus 3x equals to 10 to make y the subject. So first, I'm going to take 3x to the other side. So that gives us 10 minus 3x. Then we divide both sides by 5. So y equals to 10 minus 3x over 5. Y is the subject of the equation now. In these type of questions, you have to take each term to the other side step by step and make sure that the thing that they want you to make the subject, that is isolated on one side and everything else is on the other side. Line P is perpendicular to line L. Line P passes through the point 6, 7. Find the equation of line P. So if line P and L are perpendicular, we need to first figure out what the gradient is of line L. Line L is 5y plus 3x equals to 10. Let's convert this into slope-intercept form to figure out the gradient. So 5y equals to negative 3x plus 10. Y equals to negative 3 over 5x plus 10 over 5. This is your equation in slope-intercept form. Slope is the coefficient of x, so that's negative 3 over 5. When two lines are perpendicular, slope of line 1 times slope of line 2 will always equal to -1. This is the condition that allows us to understand whether two lines are perpendicular or not. So keeping that in mind, if m1 is -3/5, m2 is going to be -3/5 times m2 equals to -1, which is m2 equals to -1 times 5/3, which is 5/3. This is your slope of line B. So now that we have slope of line B and we have a point through which the line passes, we can create the equation of line B. So we can use point slope form y minus 7 times 5/3 times x minus 6. Cross multiply 3y minus 21 equals to 5x minus 30. 3y equals to 5x minus 30 plus 21, which gives us 5x minus 9. So 3y equals to 5x minus 9 is your equation of line B. If you want, you can even write it as slope-intercept form. So y equals to 5/3x minus 3. Either way, it should be correct because they haven't given a restriction for the format of the equation. And the diagram shows the speed time graph for a cyclist journey. So we have to describe the motion of the cyclist between t equals to 40 and t equals to 100. So whenever there's a straight line in a speed time graph, like a straight horizontal line, that means constant speed. That's it. The acceleration of the cyclist between t equals to 0 and t equals to 40 is 0.25 meter per second squared. Show that v is 10. So acceleration is basically the slope of a speed time graph. So we can just find the slope, which will be v minus 0 over 40 minus 0 equals to 0.25. So v equals to 0.25 times 40. We can cancel the 0 out and move the decimal one place to the right. So 2.5 times 4. And 5 times 4 is 20. Write the 0, carry the 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 2, 10. So 10 meter per second as given in the question. The total distance traveled by the cyclist between t equals to 0 and t equals to t is 1.4 kilometers. Find the value of t. So now for the entire journey. Distance in a speed time graph is your area under the graph. And as you can see for the graph, the shape is a trapezium. In a trapezium, what we need is the length of the parallel sides, which are these two, and our height. We have the height, which is 10. This length is 100 minus 40, which is 60. We need to figure out this length. For the bottom length, what we'll do is we'll use the distance to figure out what the value of t is. So if you notice, the distance is given kilometers and this is meters. So we change the kilometers into meters by multiplying it by 1,000. That's going to be 1,400 meters. So 1,400 equals to 1/2 times the height, which is 10, times sum of the parallel sides, which is 60 plus t. 2 ones are 2, and this becomes 5. So 1,400 equals to 5 times 60 plus t. 1,400 divided by 5 equals to 60 plus t, which is going to be 280. And 280 minus 60 is 220. 220 seconds is the time it takes for cyclists to complete the entire journey. For this, the main thing you need to remember is that in a speed time graph, area under the graph gives you the distance, slope gives you the acceleration, and for the area under the graph, you need to look at the shape of the graph. In most cases, it's trapezium or like they use a triangle. So you can just use the area of the trapezium formula to figure out the area. Or you can split it into two triangles and a rectangle as well, depending on what is easier for you to find. Then it says simplify 3x squared minus 12 over 2x squared plus 11x plus 40. So we have a quadratic equation in the numerator and denominator, but you will solve them differently. For the numerator one, we take the highest factor common. So that's 3 bracket x squared minus 4. For the denominator, we use splitting the middle term or the quadratic formula, whichever works best for you. For splitting the middle term, we multiply the coefficient of x squared with a constant, 2 times 14, which gives us 28. Then we find factors of 28. So apart from 14, it's 28 and 1. And then we have 7 and 4. We're going to pick that set of factors which when added or subtracted gives us the middle term, which is 11. So we know 7 plus 4 is 11. So we replace 11x with 7x plus 4x. Everything else is as it is. All we have done is split the 11x into 7x plus 4x. Now in the numerator, we have two perfect squares being subtracted as well, which means we can further factorize it into x minus 2 times x plus 2. For the denominator, we're going to split it into two groups. The first two terms make one group and the last two terms make another group. So in the first group, we have x common. So 2x plus 7 goes in the bracket. The last two terms, you have 2 common. 2x plus 7 again goes in the bracket. Numerator stays as it is right now because we cannot further factorize it. For denominator, between x and plus 2, we have 2x plus 7 common. So x plus 2 go in the other bracket. Now we can see that there's an x plus 2 in the numerator and denominator. So those get cancelled out. So we're left with 3 times x minus 2 over 2x plus 7. This is your fully factorized answer. If you want to expand the bracket in the numerator, that's fine. If you want to leave it as it is, that's also fine. Then it says work out 0.17 recurring plus 5 over 9. Give your answer as a fraction in simplest form. We already have 5 over 9 as a fraction. We have to convert 0.17 recurring into a fraction. So for that, let's assume that x equals to 0.17 recurring. So 17 recurring means that 17 is being repeated like this. Next, I'm going to multiply x with 10. So 10x would give me 1.71717 like this. And then I'm going to multiply x with 1000. So that's going to give me 171.7171771 and so on. The reason why I multiplied x with 10 and 1000 is because I want to make sure that the numbers after decimal are exactly the same for both of them. And the reason why we're doing this is because next I'm going to subtract the two so that everything after a decimal gets cancelled out. And the only way we can cancel it out is if the numbers are exactly the same after a decimal. So when I chose 10 to be multiplied with x, next thing that could be multiplied with x to make the numbers same after decimal was 1000. Which I multiplied by 100, that would give me 1717 after the decimal, not 7171. So we have to be careful about what we're choosing to multiply x by. Now I'm going to subtract 1000x and 10x on one side, and then 171.71 recurring and 1.71 recurring on the other side. So that's going to be 990x equals to 170. X is 170 divided by 990. The zeros get cancelled out. So that gives us 17 over 99. Now 17 over 99 is getting added to 5 over 9. We have to make the denominators equal so we can multiply the second fraction by 11. That's 17 over 99 plus 55 over 99, which is 72 over 99. Since the question says that they want the answer in its simplest form, so that's 8 over 11 because both get divided by 9. So that's your answer. Then it says OA is equal to A and OB equals to B. X is a point on AB where AX is to XB is 3 is to 2. OXC is a straight line and AC is parallel to OB. We have to find AX. Give your answer in simplest form in terms of A and B. So to find AX, we know AX is to XB is 3 is to 2. So we can begin with finding AB and then use that to find AX. AB is going to be AO plus OB because we go from here to here. That's AB. So that's going to be negative A plus B. The reason why it's negative A is because we're changing the direction of the vector. So it becomes minus A. So AX is given as 3/5 of AB. So that's going to be 305 times negative A plus B. That is your AX. Then find XC, give your answer in simplest form in terms of A and B. As you can see, triangle AXC is similar to triangle OXB. Since they're similar to each other, they're going to be increased by the same scale factor. Since they're similar to each other, that means OXB turns into AXC using the same scale factor, which will be applied to all lengths. So we can say that AX divided by XB will be the same as AC divided by OB. So AX was found to be 3/5 of B minus A, and XB was found to be 2/5 of B minus A. AC is something we don't have, and OB is B. So the B minus A get cancelled out, and that gives us 3/2 equals to AC over B, which means AC is 3/2B. Now we know we can find XC by saying XA plus AC equals to XC. So XC is XA plus AC. So XA is going to be negative 3/5 B minus A plus 3/2 B. So that's negative 3/5B plus 3/A5 plus 3/2 B. We have to combine the B's. So we times both the fractions, the first one by 2 and the second one by 5. So that is going to give us a value of negative 6/10B, 15B/10 plus 3A/5. 9B/10 plus 3A/5, and that is your value of XC. So for this question, the main thing was the similar triangle concept. Use the concept of similar triangles to create our ratios, and then you further solve those to find what the value of AC is going to be, and then using that, we found XC. Then says write x squared plus 4x minus 12 in the form of x plus a whole square plus b. So you have to convert this in completing square form. You need to remember that complete square form is either a plus b whole square or a minus b whole square. Over here, since it's plus, so that's going to be a square plus 2ab plus b square. This is what you get when you expand a plus b whole square. So a square is our x square, 2ab is our 4x, b square is what we're trying to find. So if you put the 2ab equals to 4x, that shows us that b is 2. So that means we write x squared plus 4x plus 2 squared minus 2 squared minus 12. The reason why we're writing minus 2 squared is because plus 2 squared is a new term introduced in the equation. So we have to subtract it as well. So now we combine this and write it as x plus 2 whole square, which is the complete square, and everything else is outside the bracket. So x plus 2 whole squared minus 16 is your final answer. Then it says use your answer to part A to find the coordinates of the turning point of the graph of y equals to x squared plus 4x minus 12. For the turning point, you have to remember that completing square form is used to find the turning point actually. Your value that is being added or subtracted to x, that's your x value of the turning point, and the constant outside is your y value. So based on this, we have y equals to x plus 2 squared minus 16. Your y value is negative 16 and x value is negative 2. The reason why x value is negative 2 is because over here, your completing square form originally is y equals to x minus h whole square plus k, not x plus h. So whenever there's a plus in the bracket, like for example, if it's x plus something, then you always write a negative sign with the x part. If it was x minus something, then it comes as a positive value. So for this, it's like an opposite thing because the actual format for completing square is x minus h, not x plus h. Then it's asking us to sketch the graph indicating the values where the graph crosses the x-axis. So we need the x-intercepts. So for that, we use a completing square form, which is y equals to x plus 2 squared minus 16. You put y equals to 0. That gives us 0 equals to x plus 2 squared minus 16. 16 equals to x plus 2 squared. Square root both sides. Plus minus 4 equals to x plus 2. One value is plus 4 minus 2, which is 2. And the other is negative 4 minus 2, negative 6. So x-intercepts are 2, 0, and negative 6, 0. Turning point was negative 2 and negative 16. And y-intercept is going to be 0, negative 12. Because when you put x equals to 0, y is negative 12. So let's plot all of this. Negative 6, 2. Let's put negative 12 over here, negative 16 over here, negative 2 over here. So if I join this is your quadratic curve. X-intercept, y-intercept, turning point. That's your answer. Then OAB is a minor sector of a circle with center O. OCD is a major sector of a different circle with center O. OCA and ODB are straight lines. OC equals to 6 centimeters. And OA is 9 centimeters. So I need to make arrows for this. This is 6, this is 9. The length of the minor arc AB is 5 pi. Work out the area of the major sector OCD. So we need to figure out the angle first. OB is the same as OA because they're both like the radius of this sector OAB. So if we have the length of arc for AB, we can use that to find the angle of that sector. Subtract that from 360 to have the angle for sector OCD, and then use that to find its area. So 5 pi equals to theta over 360 times 2 pi, and r is 9. 9 ones are 9. This is going to be 40. 2 ones are 2. This is going to be 20. So 5 pi equals to theta times pi over 20. Cross multiply. 5 pi times 20 divided by pi. So that's going to be 100 degrees. That's this angle, which means this angle is going to be angle COD is 360 minus 100, which is 260 degrees. We have the radius, which is 6, so we can use that to find the area. So area is going to be 260 over 360 times pi times 6 squared. Zeros get cancelled out. 6 squared is 36, so 36 divided by 36 is 1. So that's 26 pi. That is your area of the major sector OCD. And with that, we're done with the questions for paper 1 for O-level maths for May June 2025 series. If you have any questions or confusions, please leave a comment below and I'll help you out. And if you understood everything, please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends. And don't forget to check out the other videos as well because I'll be updating the playlist pretty soon.